Which of the following representations of a carbon-nitrogen bond in methylamine is correct and why? So this question is asking us about bond polarity. So we've got some symbols here. So what we want to know is that the delta positive means that that is the atom that has a partial positive charge. And the delta negative is a symbol for the atom that has a partial negative charge. And so to determine the direction of this bond dipole, we need to remember our trends in electronegativity. So if we're looking at the periodic table, what we want to remember is that our electronegativity is increasing as we are going from left to right. So as you're going across a row in the periodic table, your atoms are getting more electronegative, and also your electronegativity increases as you move up a column on the periodic table. So going from the bottom towards the top of the periodic table. A good way to remember this trend is to remember what the most electronegative atom is, and that's fluorine. So if we remember that fluorine is the most electronegative atom, then we can get an idea of this trend because it's approximately here on the periodic table. We've still got the noble gases on the right-hand side, but the noble gases are not reactive. Okay, so what we're comparing here is we're comparing carbon and nitrogen. And so carbon and nitrogen are both in the second row of the periodic table. So if you're looking at that second row starting from carbon, you'll see you have carbon, then nitrogen, then oxygen, then fluorine. So your electronegativity trend here is increasing as you're moving from carbon towards the fluorine. So the electronegativity is increasing. Okay, so what that tells us is that nitrogen is more electronegative than carbon. So electronegative means it's going to draw electrons towards itself. Electrons are negatively charged, so that partial negative charge is going to be on the more electronegative atom, which means that the less electronegative atom is having its electrons tugged on, so that's what's going to have the partial positive charge, is going to be on the less electronegative atom. So what that means, if we look at the two representations, if nitrogen is more electronegative, we want that to have the delta negative, and we want carbon to have the delta positive. So that means that this is the correct representation, number one, where we have the delta negative on the more electronegative atom. And so that gives us options C and D as possibilities, where we have that structure 1 being correct, and we just want the statement that matches what we talked about. And so D here, where it says that 1 is correct because carbon is less electronegative than nitrogen, that is the right answer.